Well, I'm finally back at my buddy's shop. I think it's been maybe 2 months working on the 87 Monte SS. Quick rundown what I did to it. Oh, and if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the videos that I have on this car. I have maybe 3 or 4 of them. Quick history behind this car. It was wrecked in the side. It was going to be a parts car. Then one of our other friends bought it. Was going to turn it into a roundy round car, a track car. Then my buddy with the body shop here bought it for his dad. Came across a driveline out of a 50,000 mile Monte SS 87, same exact car. So we decided to put this car back together. So what we did was we dropped the motor and tranny in it and basically started putting it all back together. Last video I had, I showed that the original computer harness was all chewed up. So fortunately, when the engine was pulled out of the other car, the donor car, that harness was still good. So I went ahead and yanked the inner well out of it and replaced the harness, put the computer out of the 50,000 mile car in it because this car had an aftermarket remanufactured computer. So put the factory computer back in it, put the inner well all back together. You know, I did a lot of work to this and didn't film a whole lot of it, just the whole in-between stuff, just because it's just a big mess of wires that has to go back together on these cars. You know, these late 80s computerized GM cars, they're pretty much a huge mess as far as wiring goes. So did all that, laid out the harness, had to figure out where all the wires went. It's basically a puzzle because each connector is unique. So once you find out the layout, it kind of falls into place more or less. I had to figure a few things out. Fortunately, there was another car outside. It was an 85, but it's pretty much the same thing. So I looked off of that one a little bit. I got all the belts back on it, put the AC back on it, put the radiator in it, the fan, the pulleys, the belts, the AC lines, put brand new tranny lines on it, put the fan shroud back on it, put all the spark plug wires back on it. Basically all I have left to do on this car is my buddy still has to get universal joints put into the drive shaft. I went and found starter bolts for it, but strangely enough they're wrong. I pulled them out of another small block Chevy in the junkyard. It has 2 long bolts and this car has a long bolt and a short bolt on the starter, so I'm really not sure why that is. I thought they were all the same, so I still need to get starter bolts for it. So what's that? The drive shaft universals, starter bolts for it, and the exhaust. And that is it. And then this car is ready to fire up. So another quick walk around of this car. Got everything all hooked up. I need the cruise control rod that goes from the bubble down to the carburetor. Got to find that. And what else? I mean, I guess it's pretty much it. Oh, and the vacuum lines. All of these cars have these plastic vacuum lines, and they're all brittle. They're all brittle and they're all broken. There's for the vents inside the dashboard. There's the gray for the heater hose or the heater valve. Put all new hoses on it. I know that the red one I'm not a fan of, but hey, that's what was sitting in the shop, so that's what we used. So that's pretty much it. So vacuum lines, starter bolts, the exhaust. And that's pretty much about it, and this car is ready to fire up. So just a little bit longer and should be getting this car running. I'll definitely do a video on once we start it up. Alright guys, well, go ahead and comment. I'm glad I finally got an update on this car for you guys. It's really coming along, so looking for some comments. Thanks guys.